Here's what's coming up next on the Holo Movement Purpose Lab. Hi, my name is Zenka Caro. I'm founder of LightNet, and my passion and purpose is to make the impossible possible. I am here today with Tanjila Islam, who is the founder of Soul Search. It is a global platform and community hub that helps connect people to transformative experiences and healing, whether that be with one-on-one sessions or transformative retreats. She also has Soul Search TV, and she organizes these incredible Soul Search enlightenment expos that happen in major cities across the country, enabling people that are new to modern spirituality access to meet and listen to these incredible healers and leaders. Before creating Soul Search, she was leading and founding a company called TradeFlow, which is a block form platform for trade, and also Tiger Trade, which is a B2B commerce solution, raising the international community up through access and entrepreneurial leadership. All of this work was really laying groundwork for her deeper mission, which is not only helping people succeed, but to awaken. She has an incredible amount of ancient wisdom, modern spirituality, and entrepreneurial vision that she brings to not only personal transformation on her incredible platform, but also our collective evolution. My favorite part of the interview was where she talks about hitting a wall and hanging on when really her life was calling her to change. And oftentimes, all of us have experienced this need to hold on to what we know rather than face the new challenges ahead. Check it out.
And so it was one thing after another, shifting me in a different direction. Yet I was so resistant to shift. I was not ready because I was so attached to my identity. We get attached to who we think we're supposed to be for the world rather than really going in and discovering, who am I supposed to be for myself? And how do I bring that out to the world? So it was really an ego death that I had to go through to really see my entire business fall apart, my entire business crumble. And as that was happening, I got messages. The hugging Saint Amma started coming to me. And she started coming to me in my meditations in Manhattan. I actually wasn't very familiar with her at all. I had met one of her devotees at an REI in Soho. And he came up to me and started talking to me and about like the rings on my finger and the fingers. And I said, "Oh, how do you know all of this? Because you're from Nepal?" And he's like, "No, because I used to live in Amma's ashram. I'm one of her devotees." Few weeks later, we met up at the Chelsea Museum of Art. And as we're circling up and down this beautiful museum, looking at all of the different Southeast Asian gods and goddesses, he's telling me all about Amma. And I was just blown away. And I was like, wow, thank you so much for telling me about this divine feminine incarnate. She's amazing. And that night I went home and she came into my meditation. And every day after that, she would come into my meditations every morning. 4 days later, she came in, showed me dancing with her and all of the goddesses and selling everything I own in New York City and moving to California. The next week, I sold everything I owned in New York City. The next month, I moved to California. And that was the beginning of the transition and the transformation, because she showed me, she's like, "This is what you've got to do." And I was like, okay. And once I got to San Francisco, she came to me again and she said, "Okay, now you have to start Soul Search." And I was like, "Amma, like that's great, but I'm dealing with a lot of other issues right now, legal, my business, financial. So I don't know, this does not seem like the right time." She was like, "It's the right time. Everything you need will come to you." So then I went ahead and I launched a version of Soul Search. And we started getting practitioners to come on the platform. People were really excited. But then COVID happened a few months later. And as soon as COVID happened, I started getting calls from all of my colleagues in the trading world saying, hey, we need to start working on this. There's a lot of equipment and materials that's needed around the world. You need to get involved with us. So again, I put Soul Search on the side, started working on my healthcare company. Started doing that all of COVID. The business was growing, business was booming. Then I came back to San Francisco. I'd left for a few months to New Orleans. I came back to San Francisco, and all my friends were like, what happened to Soul Search? We're excited about Soul Search. And I said, well, I don't have time for that right now. I'm focused on my trading company, my healthcare company. I'm rebuilding, my other older, I'm building this other trade company, this new technology platform. This is where I've got to focus. This is who I am. And they said, okay, that's too bad because we were excited, but we're here, we're going to wait for this platform. And then the universe hit me with another lawsuit, legal issues. Suddenly everything that I thought I was working for and building over the last year blew up in my face. And Spirit came to me and told me that I had to be in Sedona for winter solstice. And I'd never even heard of Sedona. A friend had just told me about Sedona a few weeks before. And so I said, okay. I told a couple of my girlfriends, I said, all right, let's go to Sedona for winter solstice. And we came here to Sedona. I stayed at Eagle and Vivian's Airbnb and just had the most transformational experience. So driving back to San Francisco, I was like, I'm moving there. And then that was December, it was end of December 2020. And I moved to Sedona February 2021, February 1st. And so once I got to Sedona, I told all my friends here, all these practitioners, all these amazing healers, oh, I have this platform called Soul Search. And they were like, that's great. When can we see it? When can we be a part of it? And I said, well, I don't have time for it right now because I'm focused on my other businesses. And they said, okay. And so I was working on my other businesses thinking, oh, I have a huge pipeline of deals. Everything's going to work out. It's going to be great. These legal issues will be over any day now. Nothing was working. Nothing. No deals closing, no business coming through, money just hemorrhaging out, legal issues getting worse and worse and worse. And I didn't know what to do. So then finally, in August, I moved here February 2021, August of 2021, I'm like losing everything. And I went to Spirit and to the universe, and I was like, what is happening? I was like, why is nothing working? And the universe said, how long are you going to keep ignoring your spiritual work? And I said, what do you mean? I meditate every day. I host ceremony here in Sedona. I love, bringing together a community. They said, no. How long are you going to keep ignoring Soul Search? And that's when I finally got the memo. It took me to lose everything that I had created that I thought represented who I am and what I'm supposed to bring to the world to finally step into what I'm now building and creating for the world. But I had so many fears, apprehensions, so much resistance to it that it took one hard knock after another for that to come through. And that's my journey of finding my passion and finding my purpose, because I was passionate about everything else I was doing. I loved it, but it wasn't my purpose. Not in the fullest sense of this is what I'm here to do now for the awakening, for the Aquarian age, for this expansion of consciousness that we're creating right now, that we're co-creating together. And the Galactics came to me and they said, the technology that you're using to build this platform has been around for a long time, but consciousness wasn't ready for this. Now consciousness is accelerating and you are supposed to bring people and experiences to the world. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what we're doing. But it took me a lot of time and hard knocks to get to the place where I fully said yes.
If this episode sparked something inside of you, consider joining a Holo Movement Purpose Lab team starting this September. The world needs you to bring something that only you can, and you weren't meant to figure this out alone. Join us. For more, watch the full episode, which will be aired on Monday. Or you can find this story on our podcast, Awaken Your Purpose. To find your passion and purpose, join us at hollowmovement.net/purpose.